Greetings. Hey, it's AZQ working with the Kundalini. I think this will be the sixth session that I'll do. I feel like I'm almost complete with this. But sometimes when we're looking at some things have shifted or what's happening to me, what's going on, what else do I need to know? What else do I need to experience? What else do I need to access for myself? Or what else do I need to do to go further with some of my things I'm going into effective action? All of these questions are really great points of intelligence, maybe what we call the innate intelligence. So sometimes we kind of get in our little self, right? When we continue to operate from that little self, and then eventually when we move into more of what we call the pivot. So today we're going to be talking about Kundalini awakening or the ascension stuff. But we're really looking at making some pivots. And so let's just say some things are like you're engaging with something amazing and you're ready to go for it, and then it's not working. And so, or maybe you want to do something, you want to write a book, you want to do more lectures, you want to have more experiences with community. All of these things are showing up for a lot of people right now. And when I'm really looking at it, is that we're focusing on what we call the pivot. And so let's just say, maybe we want a little bit more community, or we want to have more networking. We want to have more effective action. You could, some people think, well, I just need to go do this right now and then it'll be better. But if you can do what we call a pivot, is you might do a fraction of a pivot. And so you start may engaging with effective action. Let's just say that you're looking to create a networking group and you want to do it in person. You don't really want to do it on Zoom, but you want to do it in person. Is what is the next best thing that you can do to engage to have a better experience with the pivot? So through the years since my 2015 event happened in Kundalini, and I don't really care about it anymore. But these have been some great guidances and pivotal experiences for me to share. So I love sharing at this level. So let's just say you want to create a community or a networking group, and you don't have to go all in immediately. You don't have to do all, go just, you start just formulating what would be best, what would be the best location, how do we connect with one another, what type of people do we want to have in our group. It could be anything, but when you start noticing that, the location, the time, maybe there may be some fees involved, or maybe it's not, if maybe there's no fees. But when we do these pivots, we start going into small increments of possibility or probability or potentiality. And that pivot is really helping us, because sometimes we take on this big thing that we want to create, and then you're just like going for it, and then you realize you didn't really have, you really didn't know how to really start with it. You knew that you wanted something big, something amazing, something extraordinary, but this pivot is really great. Again, when we're talking about pivots, we talk about a fraction of a pivot, or a fraction of a percentage of what would be best now. Let's just say we're going to do a networking group. We're going to engage with that. We're going to maybe create a name. Yeah, that might be a pivot. Like, what would the name be like? And some people like struggle. Well, I don't know it. I don't know what I want to call it. Just do something. Start moving in the right direction of maybe a mastermind group, or a book study. You could do any of these types of things, but whatever it is, just start kind of going into that space and just seeing all the people that are there in that space. And so all of these things are showing up, and then you might say, okay, I know that I'm going to do a book. I'm just saying it's going to be a book study. It's going to be a community book study, and we're going to do it on what day? So we pivot and we go like, okay, so maybe a morning might be good, or an evening, whatever that is. And you just start kind of engaging and going deeper with what is the next best thing. Because I think a lot of times right now, with the Kundalini awakening and the ascension things, is I think people are ready to jump back into some of the curiosity that they've been, living in, and maybe some of the wonderment, and maybe some of those connections are coming back in. All this stuff it's kind of free. It's kind of like free range chickens. But then, so then let's say we're doing a book study, then the leader, the leader, whoever the leader is, it could be me, you, or the cat down the street, is you can find the right book. And then we start doing some of the reading through a book study. So back in Houston, I had three book studies at one point. So it's like a lot of reading. Anyway, but it was real powerful, and there was a lot of community, and people got more connected, and they could listen to the book and talk about what the experience felt for them. You know, I did another book study, and it was kind of all about activations. It was a powerful book, and then all of a sudden I was like feeling like I'm there. I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm having a better experience with life. So all of these things when we do the pivot. So the pivot is a really great space to be in because it's not like we're going to get her done right now. No, it's just like we're just going to start moving into this energy and just going into the book study, going into who are the best people to come in and how amazing would that be to have a beautiful experience with sharing and listening and engaging with new information. And what I think a lot of us are really open to more of these ontological studies. You know, these ontological studies are really showing us that there's more to the story. There's way more deeper understanding of what words or phrases are. So even with the book, you could look at it from an ontological perspective. And so really ontology is really about the act of being. It's the act of being. And so we work with a lot of these beautiful senses of just I just want to be around people again. It's been a while. You know, you start noticing, well, God, it was a while that we haven't really been seeing one another, or maybe something else will be showing up. Maybe you want to do some sort of a level of a mastermind. Whatever that is, just start jumping into it and just noticing that it doesn't have to be immediate or sudden. Just go into one step and just do that pivot. A slight fraction of a pivot, it begins to open up a new portal, a new vortex, and you may start creating, once you have some of these, just these slight pivots, you start noticing that a new portal is coming through, and there may be another one and another one. Sometimes it comes in threes for myself, and then we start getting more guidance through, you know, creating a book study or a mastermind or whatever that is. But the more that you kind of just, even if you just do a slight pivot, a fraction, you could do a fraction of a fraction of a pivot, it all the stuff starts kind of opening up for you. And it's so fun and so amazing. Back when I was in Houston, I was leading these female networking groups, and I had the opportunity to walk on the stage. It was kind of sweet. It was like 26 professional women back in Houston, and that was probably in September of 2015 or October. So September 2015 was epic, but I think that was cut around the time, maybe September or October, where I walked the stage. Where it was 26 professional women. So I love engaging with people. I love learning about people's experiences. I love listening to the stories. I love having unique and amazing connections with one another. So I think that's all I have to say for now. But when we're talking again, I'm going to go back to that pivot. You know, so we're working with that Kundalini. Oh my gosh, is that we look at what we really want right now, and then we just again go into a slight pivot, or fraction of a pivot, or a fraction of a fraction of a pivot, and then all of a sudden these new vortices or new portals are opening up and they're already spinning. So like right now with me talking about this energy of the idea of the Kundalini through 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 these really neat engagements with having the pivot energy. That pivot energy is so dynamic. We can't really discern exactly what it's doing, but it's going in and it's assisting with creating these pivots. Even if it's, I'm just gonna start making phone calls, then then another portal or vortex comes through. So all of these things are conspiring to assist us and help us, because I think it's been a little while that, maybe we just need to get together again more. Maybe we need to have more fun with one another. Think about that. Think about the fun. A lot of times when I was doing that back in Houston, it was just wonderful and marvelous to see all these professional people doing what they do and listening and understanding what their process is and what do they need. Sometimes people need help, and so we might kind of do a little bit of mastermind and see if we can get some guidance for some folks. So I think that's it for now. Just I just love doing these videos. I just feel like this is a beautiful space for curiosity, understanding, or what's up, or what's a pivot? What is a pivot, people? Anyway, we'll see you soon, and namaste.